Convocation, just to start off a school year. You know, we're one team, one mission. That means everybody's on the same page. So if you look around, we've got schools here already. We're at Southern University's F.G. Clark Center. We will have about 6,000 people in this building in about an hour. So it's just a kickoff saying, look, we love you guys. We're ready for a great school year. Let's get it going. We're going to dig down into curriculum and instruction and assessment and accountability. I've hired a new assistant superintendent. I've hired a new associate superintendent. We're going to work with the schools to really dig down into where we need the intentional support, and that's what we're going to do. I also want to say this morning we have a very special guest speaker here, Coach Ken Carter. Now, Paramount Pictures did a movie on him, and Samuel L. Jackson was the actor who played Coach Carter. He will be our guest speaker here this morning. He talks about leadership, accountability, high standards for his team and things like that. So I hope he motivates the crowd well this morning.
My message here today to the school teachers is success is uncomplicated. It's as simple as that. We have all these great educators, and I don't call them teachers anymore. I call them educators because they educate every single day, everywhere they go. So that's why we are rebranding teachers as educators. Success is what you really make of it. See, teachers have to understand that they don't get paid by the hour, they get paid by the value they bring to the hour. And so they bring so much value, but they are underappreciated. And so we just want to appreciate them, and that's what today is all about, appreciating the educators.
I think we set a great foundation. We had a little bit of a backward step last year, but the whole state did, so it was understandable. We made tremendous academic gains our first year. This year, we're putting people in place to continue those gains. Our AP scores, that's advanced placement, just came out. Some of the highest growth in the state. It's incredible. In fact, the State Department recognized only one system, and that was EBR for its growth. We've grown over 200 or 300% over the last few years in getting students not only taking the advanced placement test, but scoring a 3 or better on it. So we're really proud of that. I'm going to talk about grit today. And what is grit? It's really about perseverance, and it's about passion. You know, there's talent. People talk about talent, talent, talent. I want our team, this team, the EBR team, to be known a little more for grit. We've got to work a little harder than anybody else. We've got to get up a little bit earlier. We've got to stay at school a little later. We have to be at school. And I want us to say, we're not going to quit. And if we get knocked down like we did this past year with the flood and all of the different challenges, I want us to say, we're going to get back up again. I want us to be a little bit gritty this year as we move through the year. This morning at about 7:30, I got on bus number 2367. Chantel Walker is the driver. About 10 years old, no air conditioning. It looked great. And that's all I'm going to say about that. And the team rode with me, and it was awesome. Hey, how about the Bel Air High School Band? They are great achievers. Thank you, Ms. Jones, principal. Thank you, Mr. Pollard, band director. I had the great opportunity, my wife and I, to go to France with them this summer. And I will tell you, it was once in a lifetime opportunity. Only 3 of those students who got on that plane had ever flown. So when we took off from New Orleans, everybody started screaming, and the flight attendant said, "We're on an airplane, we don't scream on an airplane." They said, okay. But the pilot announced them there, and from Charlotte to Paris, the pilot announced them. It was special. Special. Very, very special. We took a lot of pictures. I can't show you all of them because we had a lot of fun. But I will tell you this. We were in St. Mary Glees. Now, I can relate to that because my father was World War II fighter pilot and landed D-Day plus 3 weeks and flew across Europe, P-47 Thunderbolt fighter plane. So I was where he was, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to go. But in St. Mary Glees, a town where the church is 1,100 years old that we got to visit, it was just the feeling there. It was just unbelievable. And our band marched around the town, and in the 3 days they performed and were able to do what they did, there were only 4 groups there. There was a orchestra from Fairfax, Virginia. There was a choir from Lakeland, Florida, and a choir from San Jose, California, and the Royal Wave Band. Awesome. And I can tell you that they represented Bel Air High, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and this country very good. And I want to thank a lot of the people right here in this audience who helped made it happen because they helped raise $80,000 for those students to go. Thank you. I want to thank our board president, and I want our school board to stand up as I introduce you. We have a great board. So, of course, President Evelyn Ware Jackson, Vice President Connie Bernard, Mr. Mark Ballou, Ms. Dawn Collins, Ms. Jill Dyson, Mr. Michael Goday, Ms. Veretta Lee, Dr. Kenyetta Nelson-Smith, don't think she was able to make it, and Mr. David Tatman. Thank you all for your support. Thank you very much. I want to thank Dr. Ray Belton for hosting us this morning and your kind words for all of us. We need that and we love that, and we're glad to be at Southern University today. And I especially want to welcome our mayor, Mayor Sharon Weston Broome. If you'd stand and be recognized. We have worked together over the years when she was a senator and even past that. So we have a great working relationship, and thank you for your support for EBR Schools. I want to welcome today all of our elected officials. Any elected officials, please stand and be recognized. Elected officials. I know there's a bunch here today. I think they're pretty shy, but there's a bunch here today. Our Bessie members, Metro Council, legislators. Thank you, Reverend Garrett Dawson. You know, I was listening to his words, and I was going, I don't need to say anything. Let's just turn it over to Coach Carter, who's going to be here in a few minutes. Wasn't that inspiring and awesome? What a heartfelt welcome. I want to thank Mr. Tommy Gibson, Reverend Tommy Gibson, who will be up here to close us out today. And I want to welcome our school and community partners. We have so many school and community partners here today. I just can't thank them all, but the EBR Foundation, Keela Stovall, Jeff Martin, our Foundation Board of Directors, sincere appreciation to Dr. Jackie Mims. She's around here somewhere for right there. Stand up, Dr. Mims. Dr. Mims single-handedly said, I'll take on the Advisory Council Committee to help get Estruma started. This is a project that I wanted to do, but it didn't start with me. It started with this school board. And Dr. Mims took on the responsibility of being the Advisory Council leader and then got a group together and helped get this school open. Where's Estruma High School? Where are you? Go Indians. They will have their 100th anniversary this September, right there in that school. You're all invited. 100. I am so excited for this year. You know, we had a lot of challenges, but I'm so excited for this year, and I'll tell you why. Anything that went wrong last year, or that you didn't like about yourself or somebody else, or if it went wrong, well, guess what? In education, we get to start over. It doesn't get any better than that. Who gets to start over? We get to start over fresh tomorrow. Tomorrow is the first day in the rest of your life. It's the last time you're going to be able to make a great first impression this year. So you better be ready, right? Okay, I want to hear us all here today. Where are our elementary schools? Let's hear you. Middle schools. High schools. And all of our ancillary services all over. We have about 100 facilities. Everybody else, where are you? Everybody else is not in a school location. Folks, education is about teaching and learning. It's not extremely difficult. It's about a great teacher in that classroom who's teaching the right thing, and I call it from bell to bell. It's about holding people accountable. It's about giving the best we have to offer every day for our students. This year I've reorganized the office. because I don't think I did a really good job last year, to be honest with you. I really don't. And nobody's going to be harder on myself than me. And so I've reorganized the office. I've divided accountability and assessment and curriculum and instruction. Hired a new person, Dr. Quintina T. Mole, right over there, who'll be joining us Monday, who's going to dig down with this team. Mr. Adam Smith, our associate superintendent, Mr. Ben Nikes, has moved up to associate. So that team, all of our executive directors and my cabinet, we're going to be working down where we can go to the individual student and say, what do you need? Our executive directors have been awesome in our schools. We are going to put more of a focus on technology, not just having technology, but integrating the technology. Charmaine Rutledge, where's Charmaine? Raise your hand. She's going to be the person leading that. Last year's challenges, I want us to think of those as opportunities. I want us to refocus on what is important, and I'm going to name a few things. Leadership. Everybody's a leader. One team, one mission. Everybody teaches every student in this system. Every school board member is over every school in this system. Everybody is together. Data-driven instruction, a clear mission from the principal. Principals, little pressure on you. What is your mission? Who have you told it to? Do you continue to tell it to all of your stakeholders, your teachers, your students, your parents? High expectations for all. Folks, look, I've been in this business a long time. People will rise to the occasion that you set for them, the standard that you set for them. I'll tell you a quick Bear Bryant story, and here it is. The first time he ever played in the Superdome, I think it was for the national championship, and I think it was against Penn State. But the media was focused on, where is Bear Bryant, the head football coach at Alabama at the time? Where is he? Finally, they found him on the sideline. He didn't have a hat on, and after the game, they didn't ask him about his new national championship. They said, why didn't you wear your hat? He said, my mother always told me that you don't wear a hat indoors. Now, there's a message here. When our kids come tomorrow, the next 3 days ought to be routine, routine, routine. Teaching them how to act in the hall, not to run in the hall, how to raise their hand, how to ask a question, how to sharpen their pencil. Routine, routine, routine. They want that training. You want that training. I want that training. We all want that training. So high expectations for all. Safe and orderly environment. You cannot allow a student to disrupt the learning environment of other children. And I will help you with that. Attention to detail. Quality, quality, quality. We must pay attention to detail. The little piece of paper on the floor, you have to pick it up. Then you'll train others to do that. When you train your students to do that, they will correct the problems in your school. You won't need to do anything. They will run that school for you. In Japan, there are no custodians. There are no school food service people. The children do it because that's what they do. We have to learn to become more self-sufficient. We have to do. I don't want us to expect from other people. We can't have our hands out. We have to be doers. That's what I want. Customer service is a part of it. And we have to recruit the students that come to our school. No longer is a school here and everybody around it goes to that school. People have choice, and that's not a bad thing. Parents are going to put children in the best environment for their children. My children went through this system. My daughter right over there graduated from Tara High School. Raise your hand, Lauren. Tara High School in 1997, my first year as principal there. My other two children, one of them that's here, Claire, went through this system, graduated from Zachary when I moved there. My point is, they got on the bus really early, and they went to transfer, and they went and did what they were supposed to do to get a good education, and you can't get a better education than an EBR. We have 11 national blue ribbon schools, for heaven's sakes. Think about that a minute. Don't let anybody ever put you down. I'm going to be a little gritty today because I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but I want you to be a little gritty this year too. Routine, routine, routine. 2 reasons schools are successful. Number 1, if teachers and staff feel they're supported, that's on the leadership in the school. Do you feel supported? Do you support your people? The number 2 reason is, do parents feel safe in your school? Those are the 2 reasons that make great schools. If you succeed in that and your teachers and staff feel like I'm supported here, they'll run through a brick wall for you. And the parents will come because their children are safe. That's what we have to do this year. We've seen more than our share of challenges this year. There's no doubt about it. Ms. Ware-Jackson eloquently said that, and it's true. And we've been tested. We've gone through adversity. But we've also seen what can be accomplished when we work together and the resilience in our community and our students. And as I've seen, your determination, your spirit, the teamwork in your schools, the love in your hearts, and we must love our students. I heard that several times this morning as well. And if you do, you cannot fail. Character traits, or you can say biblical traits, such as patience, kindness, protection, trust, hope, and perseverance. If you have those, you will not fail. If you have those, I can promise you, and you've all heard that before. A new day is dawning. It's one filled with promise and hope and a future we'll build together. So, this past year you've been knocked down, but you got up. You got up. And that's the important part of life, that you got up. A few weeks ago, I spoke at Rotary. And my daughter Claire, who's right here in the audience, raise your hand, Claire, said after it was over, "Dad, that was really gritty." And I said, "What do you mean by that?" She said, "That was gritty. It had a little oomph to it. You were fighting for EBR Schools." And I said, "That's what I do, baby. That's what I do." And she said, "There is a book you need to read. It just came out, Angela Duckworth, and the title of it is Grit. And here's what it is. What is the secret to success? We don't, it's a science. We don't know. It's an art. It's a science. But most people think it's talent, 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 intelligence, intelligence, intelligence. All of us have that. But guess what? It's a lot more than that. It's perseverance. It's passion. Now, I'll tell you a little story on myself. I never showed my kids my high school scorecard, Never. What is that? Yeah, my transcript from high school, my grades, until after they graduated from college, because I was so happy just to get out of Algebra 1. I'm not going to tell you what the grade was, but it wasn't an A or a B, and I don't think it was a C either. But guess what? At my 45th reunion, my wife and I are at the reunion, and you know how they get all those little funny little things, best at this, most likely to and all that. They voted me one of the smartest guys in the class, and I went, whoa! Short-term memories, right? No, I was not. I was getting on my motorcycle at 15 years old and driving to the airport to help my daddy. And so, look, I was happy to be there, but here's my point. I do have passion, and I know you do too. And I know you have perseverance. I've seen it. You've exhibited it last year. So, this I'm going to tell you. What we do this year, we're not going to be perfect. We're human. We make mistakes. Admit your mistakes. It's not a big deal. But I can tell you this board will fight for you, and I will fight for you too. What is important is this: hard work, no excuses teaching, being at school every day. If you miss 50 days in a year, you shouldn't be teaching kids. And I'm going to tell you a little secret. Let me tell you a little secret. Those 10 days of sick leave that you get every year, they add up. And you can add them on to the end of your career and get about 2 more years and retire early, okay? It doesn't mean you take 10 days every year. They're for you when you're sick. All right? So I want you to remember that. This is not an employment agency. Right? We all have great jobs, and we love what we do, because this is not a job, this is a calling. But we are going to work hard. We're going to be at school. We're going to have character. We're going to endure. We're going to have fortitude, courage, perseverance, and passion. It's called overcoming obstacles, and I'm going to finish with a couple of things here real quick. The Memphis Grizzlies, their slogan, Grit and grind. It started in 2000 when a player sat out because he had a stubbed toe. Another guy went in, had the best night of his career, and he was gritty. And after that, grit and grind. They're not the most highly paid. They may not have the best athletes, but they're not going to beat themselves, and you're going to have to work real hard to beat them. That's who we're going to be, okay? Let me talk about grit, and finally, you take a look up at that banner. Avery Johnson. Does everybody see it? All right. Avery Johnson was 5'10", is 5'10". Maybe he's 5'9" now because he's a little older. When he graduated from Southern University, he was a star basketball player here. He was undrafted. No NBA team wanted him. Think about it a minute. 16 years later, he has an NBA championship, an NBA Coach of the Year, and that's what grit is about. He persevered, he endured, he didn't give up. Look at him right there. Hometown guy right here, went to out of New Orleans from St. Aug. So I'm going to finish with this. I'm going to introduce a guy right now who has grit, who's been through this. I think you're going to enjoy this. His name is Coach Ken Carter. When the famed Richmond, California basketball coach Ken Carter locked his undefeated state playoff team out of the gym and forced them to hit the books, he sent a powerful message. Ridiculed by his community in California, Coach Carter drove it home to his players to stop counting on athletic ability to get as the only potential you have in life. This eventually led to Paramount Pictures starring Samuel L. Jackson in this story. You may have seen the movie, Coach Carter. If you haven't, go home and watch it. Not tonight. Kids are coming tomorrow, okay? Don't watch it tonight, but do watch it this weekend. How about that? He's a successful author, speaker. Coach Carter brings hard-hitting advice about accountability, integrity, teamwork, and leadership. His latest book, Yes Ma'am, No Sir, The 12 Essential Steps for Success in Life, chronicles his personal experiences. Carter has earned California's Heroes in Education Award, Coach of the Year, Harvard University's Distinguished Secondary Education Award, NAACP Impact Citizen of the Year. I heard him, and some of our board members were honored to hear him last year at Louisiana School Boards Association Convention. Please help me welcome Coach Ken Carter.
It is so great to be here. When I got the call to come here to Baton Rouge, because believe it or not, I was born in this huge town just directly up Highway 55 here called Macomb, Mississippi. See, let me explain this to you educators. That's M, little c, big C, OMB. And as you're exiting the road going to Macomb, Mississippi, at the top of this sign, it says, "You're now entering Macomb, Mississippi." At the bottom of that same sign, it says, "You're now leaving Macomb, Mississippi." I couldn't wait to see what I had to say when I got here to Baton Rouge. But I promise you guys this today. My presentation today is going to be like a woman's dress. Oh. Get ready now. See, it's going to be long enough to cover all the basics. But it's going to be short enough to keep your interest. See, we're not spiritual beings having a human experience. We are human beings having a spiritual experience. And see, ladies and gentlemen, there's a difference between being broke and being poor. Being broke is just an economic condition. But being poor is a disabling frame of mind and a depressed of one's condition. That's why we are here as educators. We're not going to let any of our kids be depressed. You understand? Not at all. So that means all of us educators got to get rid of all of those 5-year-old lesson plans. Because if you ask any kid in America why you don't like school, the number one thing they say is this: it's boring. So you gotta, listen, reset your preset. You gotta reset your preset. Listen, it's just like when you rent a car. No matter where you are in the United States of America, when you rent a car, if you like country and western music, when you turn on the radio, it'll have Snoop Doggy Dogg on it. But think about it. See, you have to reset your preset. You can't say, this is the way I've always done it. You understand? Now, I won Educator of the Year twice from Harvard. Now, I'm not going to impress you with all these big words. And see, all my friends got all these initials behind their names, and you should hear the way they speak. And they speak so well, but they can never, ever accomplish not one single thing. They cannot finish one thing because they can't stay concentrated on one thing long enough. They're so intelligent that they're stupid. You know, and I call them like I see them. I'm like an umpire. See, this thing called educating, being an educator, is like a baseball game. Isn't this the craziest game in the world? They give you a round ball and a round bat and tell you to hit it square. Isn't that the craziest thing in the world? See, as educators, we got to step up. See, you don't get paid by the hour. You get paid by the value you bring to the hour. And we must always do more than what we're paid for as an investment in our future. See, this little boy who grew up actually in Fernwood, Mississippi, I say Macomb because Macomb actually has a stoplight. And our old house had a tin roof. And sitting there, and when it rained, you know, we had holes in the roof. But that didn't matter to us. You know, to most people, they would think that was a problem. But we had holes in the floor, so when it rained, it just ran all the way through. And the chickens used to be playing under our house. I used to be, as a little kid, looking at them going like, you're going to be supper tonight. So it's not where you begin, it's where you end. And see, this is the thing. When you got a praying mama, it ain't nothing. There is nothing impossible that you cannot achieve. And so you sit there and always nagging and complaining. I can't stand people who nag and complain. Always nagging and complaining. Nobody don't care about your problem. Listen, 80% of the people in this world don't care about your problem. And the other 20% is glad it's you and not them. If you want to get your future canceled, be a chronic complainer. You definitely going to get your future just wiped out. So you got to be bold. And you got to have a pleasing personality. That's what make winners do. That's how they get it done. I love winners. I can't stand people who can't win. Always nagging and always complaining. Guess what? People don't care about your nagging and complaining. They care about winning. I love winning. I'm the only coach in America who's undefeated. I've never lost a game. Sometimes the clock just, the time just runs off the clock. Listen, but I don't call that a loss. We get it done. You understand? I tell our team simple as this. It's going to be on like a pot of neck bones. So this thing called life, you got to live it. You can't go out here sitting there complaining and nagging. You got to be ready to play this thing called life. You got to be on ready. You got to be on the gas. And you're saying, Coach, if I be on the gas, I'm going to hit something. But if you stay on the brake as educators, guess what? You can't go anywhere. So it takes a little gas and a little brake. Takes a little more gas and a little brake. So you got to be ready to play this game called life. And you got to be ready. You got to be on ready. Get your chest out, young man. You don't have a heart condition or nothing, right? Stick your chest out. See, this is the way life comes along, and life sometimes hits you. He's ready. You see, when I walk by men, they say, cowboy up, hit me, coach. Hit me. And they have this basketball team over here who won a couple games. I understand they're the state champs. Stand up, everybody. Right here, stand up. Turn around, let everybody see you. Good job. Good job. See, now all of our kids need to be is validated. So you have to validate yourself. Sit there. You can't just go through life sitting over here cheering. Look at it. He ready. He ready. You see me walk by, cowboy up. He ready. So this thing called life, you gotta get ready. Can't see sitting around complaining. Because guess what? How many of you are extremely talented, who have talented family and friends, who sat around and do absolutely nothing with their day? Raise your hand. Now, if you did not raise your hand, you're probably that person. Now, we're talking about validation. We're talking about validation. So the person to the right of you and to the left of you, shake their hand and say, I validate your ability to be successful. Good job. Is everybody validated? Is everybody validated? Is everybody validated? That's what I'm talking about. And see, I do not have ESP, but I do have ESPN. And a lot of you guys are thinking, Samuel Jackson is taller than Coach Carter. Yes, Samuel Jackson is taller, but I can outrun him. Now, see, everybody talks about success, but you don't get success by yourself. See, it's all about a team. It's accountability, integrity. You got to be a great follower before you could ever be a great leader. And the other day, one of the kids ran up to me and said, Coach Carter, I don't like my English teacher. I said, young man, your English teacher probably don't like you. So you can't do anything alone. So if you only go fishing twice in your life and you're 50 years old and you only went fishing once, you don't have 50 more years to go fishing. You just have one more time to go fishing. Do the math. So now you got to step up, and when you show up, you got to show out. This is the thing. I have a team wherever I go. Now, it is true, I do have 7 sisters. Everyone that's seen my movie, they know all of my plays are named after my 7 sisters. One of my 7 sisters are here today, Miss Deborah. But guess what? She's part of our team. Give her a hand. But she handles the academic portion of my basketball team. See, basketball was the hook. Education was always the goal. See, I'm counting on you guys to do a great job because I really need my Social Security check. So we got to step up. Now I'm going to give my sister a chance to say a little bit about how she structured our academic winning. See, everybody always look at the movie and think we only won on the basketball team. We won academically. Our lockout was the only time where the basketball team won, the school won, our players and coaches won, but most of all, our community won. That's what I'm most proud of. Here's Miss Deborah Carter.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Very, very briefly, one of the most powerful scenes, as you saw in the movie, was when Cruz basically stood up and told Kenny, I call him Kenny, you changed my life. So what did we do? We took all of his undirected talent. We took that through a process we called redirecting behavior. We do that through a process called carefrontations, a new word, carefrontations. And what we do, very, very briefly, is that through those confrontations, our redirecting behavior is all about students being internally motivated to do the right thing. Internally motivated to do the right thing. So what we actually did is that we have curriculum for what we did. We had curriculum for not only the parents and the teachers, but also, of course, for the students. So all three are talking the same language. So all of that undirected talent, we redirected that talent, and what happened? All of them became self-directed. So that's the process that we took all of those players through. Now, as educators, we know that most of the students only receive about 12.5 minutes of communication every single day. So you know what? What I want you to also just remember that the impact that you have on students, remember, 10 minutes from now, 10 months from now, but most importantly, know that all of you impact students 10 years from now. So redirect behavior, that's what we did with Coach Carter. We took that undirected talent, we redirected it, and it became self-directed. We appreciate
Hello, hello? It only works for me. See, this is the thing. I always expect stuff to work out for me. You understand? That's the way I approach my life. I don't wake up in the morning thinking about, oh man, it's Monday morning. School starts back tomorrow. You got to get up and go in your classroom and you got to be on ready. You got to be on the gas. You understand? You got to reset your preset. Everybody said, reset my preset. Say it again, so reset my preset. Say it. For X number of you guys in the back there, I have a wonderful little thing that I've created called Success Uncomplicated. It's a book. Real simple. It's like me. It's like Macomb. It's like Fernwood. It don't come with all those trimmings on it. It just gets stuff done. You understand? You just have to get stuff done. And people don't understand. Hard work is a skill. That's what our kids have to understand. Hard work is a skill. I still get up at 5 in the morning because I had to take care of the animals when I worked in Fernwood, Mississippi. I think our animals live better than we did. But this is the greatest thing about life. You can win. Now, I have some discs back there, and we have an X number of them. I'm just going to give them to you. If you stand in line back there, we got some gifts for you. Because guess what? I want you guys to help me get my Social Security check. And as a coach, this is what I do. I'm always coaching. You always got to be learning. You got to be lifelong learners. And see, before I started coaching the boys' team they made the movie about, believe it or not, I actually coached the girls' team. And I was better prepared to coach the girls' team than anything else. That is the only trophy I have in my house, is the trophy I won with the girls, because I truly deserved that one. And I truly earned it. And you know, I didn't know there was a difference between boys and girls. Now tell me, over the years, how come the boys' clothes have gotten bigger and the girls' clothes have gotten smaller? But in coaching these girls, they had won 4 games in 10 years. I became the coach. I never had one single practice the first 4 weeks of practice. I just let the girls sit in a circle and talk about their day. Because I knew it was more important for them to get along with each other than to actually have a skill. But see, most men wouldn't understand that because they don't have 7 sisters. And see, all these guys wearing pink shirts and stuff, I was wearing that, man, back in 1972. And all these guys think, all these new guys think what y'all doing is all fresh and all new. And they all talking about, Coach, I want to be a rapper. I said, all you guys doing is using old music that we done forgot about. I said, everything y'all have is from Parliament, you know, Confunction and all these, you know. And when these real rappers came up with, I come equipped with stereophonic, funk producing, disco inducing, twin magnetic funk perception. Check me out, baby bobble. But see, I like this stuff called rap because guess what? this one rapper in Houston, I went and knocked on his door, found this young man. He sold 5 million copies of his record by just using his name. He put his name in the song 5,000 times. Greatest English lesson ever. He just said, Mike Jones. Mike Jones. And he had the greatest hook ever. He said, back then you didn't want me, but now I'm hot, you all up on me. Mike Jones. Mike Jones. Mike Jones. You see my man up here? He got me a little deaf in there. See, that's what I'm telling you. You see, when winners show up, everybody start winning. He ready to play. He's on the gas. Now, coaching these girls, this is what I did. Never practice. We had our first game. I implemented the most incredible coaching strategy ever. I said, young ladies, after you pass the ball 4 times, you shoot it no matter where you are. This young lady named Stephanie had the ball. They would pass it 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my God, I have the ball. Everybody is hollering, shoot. She closes her eyes and just throws the ball almost from half court. The shot hit nothing but net. I was the greatest coach ever. Now, I only ask men's this question because they are so basketball intelligent. Out of our first 16 basketball games, how many games do you think we won? Our girls have won 4 games in 10 years. We never practiced, not one single day. We just sat in a circle and talk about their day so they could get along. So how many games do you think we won? How many games do you think we won? 5. How many games do you think? You guys are basketball players. How many games do you think we won? How many games do you think we won? How many games do you think we won, sir, in the tie right there? You pretty sure. I want you to stand up, please. Stand up. You got to stand up. Stand up. I got to come see this man. Stand. I want everybody to look at Opie Taylor. Now, all I have to say to you is this, sir. Now, I asked him, how many games did he think we won our first 16 basketball games? He actually said 0. Only thing I have to say to you, sir, is, dude, I have a movie. All I'm saying, I don't know where you teach at, but I ain't taking a class with you. Listen, winners do one thing. We win. We don't make excuses. Guess what? But I don't know where I'll coach some of you guys. Sometimes it could be winter in your life. You understand? When we lived in Fernwood, Mississippi, with the holes in the roof and holes in the floor and had to get up at 4 a.m. to feed the animals, you understand? It was winter in my life. It was winter. But that is what made me. People didn't understand. The reason I have a movie today is real simple. The people in Hollywood cannot even remember my name. But they said, a real polite young man. They said, oh, that's Coach Carter. They said, yeah, he's really polite. Now, isn't that a great way to be known? But that came from eating that red dirt in Fernwood, Mississippi. Now, I'm coaching this girls' team, and we get all the way to the championship. And my point guard would not pass the ball to my leading scorer. So I called timeout. And I asked the young lady, come here, why you won't pass her the ball? She said, Coach, I can't stand her. I said, what? She said, Coach, I can't stand her. And then we had 2 other girls over there putting on their lipstick. First television game they was ever on. So I put them back on the court. I said, they gonna start playing. Now it's 4 minutes left in the game. We down 6 points. So I called my final timeout, and as the young ladies were walking towards me, I yelled at them. I said, pass the ball. Would you believe my entire team started crying on the sideline? My entire team started crying on the sideline. And I asked them, I said, young ladies, why are you guys crying? And they looked at me and said, Coach, you didn't have to yell at her. I said, what? You didn't have to yell at her, Coach. I said, young ladies, implementing, resetting your preset. 7 sisters, I understand this a little bit. I said, young ladies, come here. I said, there's a sale at the mall. I said, after we win this game, I'm taking everybody shopping. We won this game by 10 points. I like that one. Give me some dap, man. See, this thing called life, you got to live it because you can't get out alive. Let me repeat that. Live this thing called life because you can't get out alive. You got to sit there and you got to always be a lifelong learner. You come back to my table back there, I got some bread for the head. You understand? I got something when you having your coffee in the morning, you're going to be listening to me for the next 3 hours because you can't put me down because I'm entertaining. See, all you instructors, and I call you instructors, and I call you educators, because guess what? Teaching is too limited. Now, I used to think next to parenting, teaching was the most incredible profession in the world. But now, see, we're educators. We're not analog anymore. We're digital. Look over here, young man. There we go. So you come back there and see me because I have something for you, some bread for your head. And I want you to listen to me, and I want you to sit there and go back and chew on this and talk to each other and say, did what Coach Carter say was correct? Now, how many of you have seen the movie Coach Carter? Raise your hand. Keep your hand up. You haven't seen my movie, young man? Come up here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. You got to come on up here. Listen. Come on up here. Yeah, come on up here. You and Eddie, come on up here, young man. No, I ain't going to punish you. Come on up here.
I said I'm not going to get part of the fee if I'm going to be in the show.
Oh, yeah, you're going to get paid. Come on. See, you can tell he's a politician, right? But listen, this gentleman, look how well dressed he is. See, look at his presentation that he made this morning. See, it's good to be conscious but not self-conscious. It's good to dress up, look as best you can, smell the best you can. You understand? Look at his presentation he put together this morning. But he hasn't seen Coach Carter. Now, since we have these nice young men over here, I normally make people do push-ups. But you so clean, I'm not going to do that because they are part of your team. Now, pick out one of those young men over there to do these 10 push-ups.
The one that came late that's sitting next to Coach Sanders.
Oh, we had a player that come here late. Come here. Come on up here. Come on up here. Now, he's a basketball player. Now, he's a basketball and going to show up at my lecture late. Now, if you've seen my movie, you know that's 5,000. But I'm not going to give him 5. But since you're part of his team, you need to give me 10 push-ups. Let's get them done. Good job. Now you get your own Coach Carter movie. Good job. Hey, good job, young man. See, this is the greatest thing about young people. Guess what? Superintendent, can I tell everybody in the audience a secret about young people? Now, I got permission from the superintendent that I can actually tell you guys this secret about young people. they will lie to you. I asked them, young man, how is your grades? They said, Coach, I have A's and B's. You check, they have C's. I said, young man, how is your grades? Coach, I have C's and B's. You check, they have them one-legged A's. But see, winning and winners do one thing. They win. Educators, that's what we're here to do, is win. The way we win is you got to be a lifelong learner. And the way you become a lifelong learner, you just got to simply get it done, and you can't make excuses. Now, a lot of you guys seen the movie, and Mr. Samuel Jackson, in shooting the movie, in 6 months, he never stumbled on one single line. Absolutely genius. Genius. And so as this progression, this thing called life, I got a chance to coach the boys' team. Now, I only ask women this question. Ma'am, I started coaching the boys' team. How many games you think we won our first 25 games? She said all of them. See, I told you, she's not. I only ask women, hey, coach, how many games you think we won our first 25 games? He said, I won them all. Coach, it's amazing. You're learning, so you need to listen to the woman. This is the greatest thing ever, young people, and this is what I want to tell you. I started coaching the boys' team, and listen to me, and this is how this happened. I started coaching this boys' team, and we had a player on our team named Worm, and he said, Coach, put me in the game. Coach, put me in the game. So I put Worm in the game. He had taken 3 shots, missed all 3, turned the ball over twice, and had committed 4 fouls, all in 1 minute and 30 seconds. I couldn't wait to get him out of the game. He said, Coach, you going to put me back in? I said, boy, get to the end of the bench. Now, we're playing in a championship game, which an NBA player was actually playing in the game this year, in the championship. We just couldn't hold him. Now, my star player, Junior Battle, fouled out. The referee comes over to me and said, Coach Carter, you have 20 seconds to replace that player. And I'm walking up and down the floor trying to look and see who could I put in. Looking up and down the floor. No one would look me in the eye. This is what happened. Referee comes over and said, Coach, you only have 5 seconds or I'm going to have to call a technical. I turned around. Guess who I bumped into? I bumped into Worm. I said, Worm. I said, young man, oh, come here, sir. Come here, quick. You're going to be Worm. Hustle, hustle, hustle. That's right. You're Worm now. I grabbed Worm like this. I said, Worm, come here, young man. You ain't got a heart condition or nothing, right? No. All right, I told him. I said, Worm, come here. I said, the school needs you. The team needs you. I'm supposed to say something? And he said, Coach, the team needs me? The community needs me? Is the TV cameras on us? I said, Worm, get out there and get ferocious. And Worm was like this. He went, ferocious, Coach? I said, Worm, get out there and get ferocious. And he was like, I said, Worm, get out there and get ferocious. And Worm turned around and looked at me and said, Coach, is ferocious on our team? Worm looked at me and said, Coach, is ferocious on our team, and what is his number? See, I should have known I had an academic problem then, right? But let me tell you what Worm did. Worm entered the game, held that NBA player to 0 points. Worm scored 8 points himself, and we won another championship. I learned a very valuable lesson from Worm that night, and it was simply this, that successful people would go from one failure to the next enthusiastically, because the only one believed in Worm that night was Worm, because I truly didn't. Sir, can I give them the Coach Carter experience? All right, all the insurance is paid up? Okay, I want everybody to stand up. That is so cool. Now, I wanted you to put both of your hands in the air. Put both of your hands in the air. Now, take your right hand and put over your heart. Mary, your right hand, darling. She just said she left-handed. Okay, all right. Now, I want you to turn 360 degrees all the way around. Now, put down your hands. Now, when anybody asks you how was Coach Carter's presentation here in Baton Rouge, this is what I want you to tell them. He made me rise to my feet, raise both of my hands. He touched my heart, and he turned me around. Hey!
If people have questions like more information, what should they do?
Well, 922-5400 is our number, or www.ebrschools.org. Look forward to hearing from you.